All right. Welcome, ministry partners. We so appreciate you. We really do. We can't do this without you. You make this possible.
Yeah.
We really do.
And so it's fun for us to give you extra content. And
Yeah.
this content, you're going to like it.
We've
Rachel
got-
Gilson is amazing.
Yeah, talking about parenting without panic. And, we already asked you, you say in the book, you should talk to your kids early about sex.
Earlier than you think.
Yeah. Like how early?
You said 2.
I was having the beginnings of conversation at 2 and 3 with my daughter. Absolutely. Now,
Wow.
Naming body parts.
Naming body parts, beginning that seed and egg conversation.
Yeah.
Like, hey, new life comes for mammals with a seed and an egg, right? Like, so, but then I think I told her about reproduction, like penis enters vagina. That's how the seed gets to the egg. I mean, definitely before kindergarten.
Wow.
Because again, our kids don't have sexual feelings. They don't have all that weird baggage. So mostly they hear that and they think, ew, or they're like, that's weird. And then they leave. And then they've got the information. They mostly think it's strange and then they move on.
And you say it's an ongoing conversation.
And you kind of got I mean, how many times do you have to tell your kids things?
Yeah.
Do you think with the gospel, we're like, well, I told my daughter the gospel when she was 3 and now we're good. It's like, well, no, like if the important things.
I just read something that said a little boy's brain is at a 25% developmental stage at the year 5. So if you have to say something to them 4 times,
that makes good sense.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be surprised.
Exactly. And we know that they're micro conversations. Like I've got 1 sentence, maybe 2. And so I'm figuring out what 1 or 2 sentences works for me.
I was really bad at that. I just go on and their eyes glaze over.
They're thinking about He-Man or whatever cartoons were popular in the 80s.
Okay, so we've
short.
got the 3 reasons. We covered 1 in the episode where you say, talk about it early because it can help them understand terminology even when sexual abuse. It could prevent it.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Huge.
Never heard before.
Huge.
Second one, you want me to read it to you?
Yeah.
No, I remember the
you
second
got it.
one.
Okay, second one.
It's so that our children understand that we are experts on this topic. If we never talk about this...
But we're not. We don't feel like experts.
But we know more than they do. They came from somewhere.
So they trust us.
So they can trust us and they go to us. Because if we never talk about it, they might hear something on a playground, ask a question and think, well, my dad never talks about that, so he must not know about it.
Or is afraid to talk about it.
He never talks about it, so maybe it scares him. Or maybe I'll be in trouble
Maybe
if
we're
I
not
ask
supposed
him.
to.
Maybe we're not supposed to talk about it. Maybe this is something that Christians don't talk about. You never know. Kids think of weird stuff. But if you initiate the conversation... and you do it with calm confidence. Now, you may be panic on the inside, but you practice, you breathe in, breathe out. You practice calm confidence. They see, oh, my mom and dad, they want to talk about this. They talk about this in a way, I might feel a little embarrassed because of the topic, but they're being cool about it and they know what they're talking about. They're going to tell me the truth. I know they tell me the truth about other things. They're going to tell me the truth about this. And so if the younger they experience that, the higher the odds are that they'll be able to say, okay, well, now I'm in 7th grade and I have a question, but I know my dad's been talking to me about this for years, so I can talk to him.
That's good.
That's
okay,
really
what's
good.
the third one? You want me to read it to you, don't you?
I do want you to read it to me. I was so confident, but...
We want our children to be able to rejoice in and
That's
embrace
right.
God's positive vision for sexuality.
That's right.
You wrote it, so there you go.
The earlier we talk about what God says yes to, the longer my child has to say, wait a minute, God had a really good idea. Like, our bodies are great ideas. Wait a minute. When I see people in my church thriving in their singleness, thriving in their marriage, being brothers and sisters of Christ together, like, hey, that's really good. Like, men and women being men and women, boys and girls being boys and girls, that's really good. I give them a better shot of just saying, like, hey,
Yeah, that's
So
good.
we're pointing out the things, the good
Yes.
things that God did that he said yes to.
Exactly. So when I see, for example, we just celebrated, so there was a woman in our church who came to Christ, got baptized. Next year, she got married in our church. And so my daughter got to be a bridesmaid. It was so beautiful to be with my daughter and be like, look what God did in her life. He rescued her and now she's married to him. And you talked about like, they read the gospel at their marriage. Like they were talking about the gospel at their marriage. Like, look at how they're a picture of Jesus and his bride. Or we talk about, my pastor has been married for a long time and he's such a faithful and good man. You see, like, look how well pastor loves his wife. Like, Isn't that a picture of God's faithfulness over time and how she loves him? Or we have new babies in the congregation. You'd be like, ooh, like, look at this new life. God loves to bring new life. You know,
and every life is a blessing.
And every life is a blessing. Ooh, this brand new little girl. You see how, just like their mom and dad, a picture Christ in the church always brings new life. This is a little picture, this little baby.
That's good.
Or you see there's faithful people serving in our church. I want to name them, but I don't have permission. So I'm like, you see how faithfully, like, he serves the children of this church when he's not married. But how well, like, every summer, he's the reason that VBS happens at this church.
Sweet.
You see how faithful he is and how singleness doesn't equal loneliness.
Ooh.
What deep relationships we have with our non-married brothers and sisters, because, like, marriage is a beautiful relationship, but the family of the church is a beautiful relationship. Like, look, whether God calls you to marry or not, or if you marry and your spouse dies or whatever it is, you're always called to intimacy. Forever we're going to be brothers and sisters together, and that starts right now. You see how good that is? That together, married and single, men and women, we are all part of God's family. Like, isn't that a beautiful thing? We don't ever have to be alone.
Man, that is such a easy and practical thing that we seldom do.
And parents, you can do that.
You just pointed out.
Yes.
Like, isn't that good?
But you're looking for the good.
I mean,
And
some parents think, I'm just going to play this little episode and say, hey, listen to Rachel. But you can do this.
And it also, if we've been talking about what's good, when something really hard happens in our congregation, it helps us give language to why it's hard. So, for example, I don't need to go in details. It's not even in my own community. So I've got a deep friend, a dear, dear friend who found out recently that one of her best friends in her own community was having an affair, was keeping it secret. So her friend's marriage is like, it's over, it's done. And it's been devastating to her. It's been devastating to my friend's children because it's devastating to those other children. Ache, like heartache, because it's not just a betrayal. That woman wasn't just betraying her husband, she was betraying the whole community because they were so connected. And we can even talk about, like, there's a part of the reason this is so wrong is because that is never how the church should treat Christ. Like, we are called to faithfulness. We're called to honesty. We're called to love. So part of the reason this is so painful is because it lies about who God is and what his relationship to his people is supposed to be.
So you're honest and truthful.
So you're honest and truthful because really hard things are going to happen. People are going to make mistakes and let us down. Marriages are going to fail. People are going to act out in their singleness. Like, our children are also good because the church isn't like, oh, just happy pictures all the time.
It's messy.
Church is really messy. And sometimes I need to be able to understand, why does this hurt so bad?
Mm-hmm.
And when we've been able to articulate why the things are good, we even have language for why sin and brokenness hurts.
Yeah.
And it can help our children not be disillusioned, even with church life, to be like, hey, we never want to see anyone fall into sin. But we're also not surprised when sin overtakes even in the household of God.
Because we're in a broken world.
The effects of the fall.
Yeah.
And I would add another one to that.
Oh, we got a fourth one?
No, I'm
Ooh.
just thinking, this is something that I think that we didn't do well. That's why I'm bringing it up. I like the idea of pointing out the good things at the church, because what we can do is become consumers that point out the things that are bad.
Yeah. Critique, constant critique.
We used to do this on the way home from school, not on the way home from church. I would say, hey, what did you think? Bad thing to ask. What did you think?
About the music, about the preacher.
Yeah, and so they're like,
dad.
well, that was boring and that was dumb and that was, so they become consumers of critiquing. And I wish I would have said, what did God say to you today?
Yeah.
It could have been terrible, but God is always, his presence is there. He's always speaking. Or what did you see that was good? So you're teaching your kids to have eyes for the good and to have ears for what is God saying.
Yeah, my daughter, She can love to point out a critique. And I've told her, like, stop. You're not allowed to tell me this critique until you tell me 2 good things.
See, that's good. Because our kids are going to do it.
About the person or the situation.
Yeah.
Because your critique might even be valid. You're actually kind of smart and you've got good observations, but I want to hear 2 good things before you.
That's good. Yeah, because it's easy just to see the negative.
Rattle them off.
Yeah. That's good.
But God is always at work.
Yep.
And it helps our children to be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, I like that.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. This has been great.